Genol. Oh my. Fujita, Arona, Tom Erickson, Vanderlei Silva, Igor Vovchanchin, Dejiro Matsui, Takada, Erickson and Tim Catalfo, Ensign, Inoue, Gary Big Daddy, the Texas Crazy Horse, Akira Shoji, Ted Shamrock, Semi Schilt, Gilbert Ivel, The Ronin, Don Frye, Enzo, Ois, Kazushi Sakuraba. Are you kidding me? It's a special day here, mdgenol. So we got a lot to talk about. You know, the old school show is coming. I hope it's not skipping too much with the video capture. It takes a second for it to get used to these old games, but we are old school here. The old school show is coming, yes, but here at mdgenol, I live the old school. It's PS2, it's PS1. I have a PSP in my pocket right now. I mean, that's just Genol, you know. Nice to see you. Good to have you. I'm not kidding about the PSP, but I digress. Norvi's here. She's laying down. She's a good girly. She's pretty girly. I hope you enjoyed that music. And Kazushi Sakuraba. I just can't even begin to nerd out right now. I can, but the old school show, especially when we get to pridefc, I'll go ahead and do that for you. So, but here we are. It's nice to see you. mdgenol arcade. All we do is just play whatever. Literally, usually it'll be a fighting game, but not always. You know, we can play whatever. So we'll go Don Frye versus Semi Schilt. Those rules look perfectly fine. But I can't wait to just talk to you about everything old school MMA. That's the point of the old school show. It'll be old school in the game too, but the game doesn't really matter. It's just there. It's just going on in the background. So this game, I get copyrighted if the music of this game was playing for that intro. I can play the audio now, so we're not just sitting here in silence listening to my soothing Yoga with Adrian little voice. And if this fight goes to the ground, I apologize. I don't know how to grapple in this game. It's not a very good game, but it is awesome at the same time because I get to play with Don Frye. I'm in my shorts like it's 2001 and I'm wearing a shirt that says terrorists suck. You know, the most American man that ever lived. More than Abraham Lincoln, George Washington, or any actual president. Don Frye could have been the president. He was too busy battling for our country instead. Oh no, I'm on the ground. What do I do? Okay, now get up. I dropped back and tapped him like he was Mark Hall. We're going to talk about all these people. I can't wait. We're going to do UFC 1 through 5 for the first episode, and anything in that timeline that we capture there, like Valetudo Japan 94 comes to mind, if you ever heard of a guy named Hickson Gracie. So we'll talk about it. You know, don't start yelling now because I said a Gracie's name. I know younger fans, they really don't respect the Gracies much. Even they'll do jiu-jitsu, they roll, and they have this huge issue with the Gracies. I don't get why there's like 50 of them. They only know a few of their names. So in the comments, go ahead and tell me exactly your dissatisfaction with the Gracies so we can talk, we can debate. This is mdgenol. You get a voice, I get a voice, you know. Let's talk about it. I love the history of the sport. I want more people to know the history of the sport, especially the younger fans. So it's fun to me to debate this and to just explain it and talk about stories and fights. It's kind of like we're at the lunch table, we're in the second grade. You know, I've rented these videos of the early UFCs and the prides. You haven't. Your parents won't let you. You know, I've got to explain some of it to you. So that's why I'm here. That's Genol. That's your friend Genol. That's what we're doing. You know, I got Murillo Ninja Hua here, so I want to know who I'm going to put him against. I think, looking for Ricardo Arona, but I don't think he's in this game yet. Oh no, he is. There we go. And that's the real Pride rules. If it's 10 and 1 5-minute round like I used to like to do on UFC Undisputed 3, that's like Bushido. The Bushido events were different. They were starting out like a fight night, but for lighter fighters. The Prides were only heavyweights and middleweights. When the guys that were like 170 and below fought, they had to fight heavier people. In Japan, the weight classes really don't matter to them. Even if you get almost killed, like a Kanehara versus Mirko Cro Cop scenario. Yeah, they don't care in Japan. And they'll tell the Japanese guy like a week before, like, yeah, you fight next week. Your opponent, Mirko Cro Cop. They tell him that, you know, on Thursday. He's about to fight on Sunday. Yeah, that's the crazy thing, man. Pride was, and just the Japanese organizations in general back then were known for. Go ahead, Norvi. Go ahead, baby. It's open. Go. Go, baby. You want to lay down? Okay, never mind. She doesn't want to. Go ahead and lay down then. You want this one open? Go ahead. Go ahead, baby. It's open. Sorry. So that was Norvi's exit. Where was I? So, I completely lost my spot there, my train of thought. That's okay. We'll get back to it. But what we're going to do is we're going to do UFC ratings of each event, so you know which event, especially with Paramount Plus now. I'm sure you can go back to the 90s. Starting in 93 is UFC 1, and then UFC 2 is in 94. It's supposed to be the rematch of Ken Shamrock versus Royce Gracie, the first time it was supposed to actually happen. You know how these things get dragged out. Ken injured his hand, so instead Jason DeLucia was there. I don't even think him and Ken had met yet, but they got to know each other at UFC 2. Jason DeLucia is a character who actually fought UFC 1 as well. He was an alternate fight against Trent Jenkins. So there's some lore that I'm going to fill you in on every step of the way as we go. So these episodes are going to be pretty long form. And these mdgenol arcades, especially when I'm just popping on, playing a random game, you know, anything I want, because it's my show, you know, it's going to be a little quicker. We're not going to, oh wow, Ricardo Arona, man. So when we do an old school show, it's going to be long. We're going to do 1 through 5, like I said, UFC 1 through 5. I don't know how to get up there. Stand me up, ref. I want him to start yelling, action! Don't give me a yellow card, though. Oh, I can wave him down. That's cool. I'm almost dead. He's just messing me up, Shogun style, even though this is Shogun's brother I'm playing with, if you didn't know. Murillo Ninja. A little bigger, a little better of a grappler, and then smaller later. Oh man, I got it. Neck crank. Yeah, Murillo Ninja Hua. But we're going to rate each of these events as we go. So UFC 3, The American Dream, that happened a little bit later in 94. Tudo Japan 94 was right before that. This is Hicks and Gracie's Japanese debut. And then UFC 4, Revenge of the Warriors, because 3, the big debacle happened. And then 5 is The Return of the Beast, or Gracie versus Shamrock 2. So we will rate each of these events 1 through 3 stars. I know you guys love rating systems and tier lists and all this, so make sure that you know exactly what the 3-star events are, which 3-star, these are the greatest events in history. These are the greatest events of all time. You know, I'm not going to throw that one around. It's going to be very few 3-star events. Come on, baby. You got to get your toy. So, like a 3-star event, I'll give you one hint right now. UFC 189. And that's all I'm going to say. If you don't know that event, go watch it right now. It's way better than this show. So please go watch Igor Vovchanchyn for sure. I'll tell you which Pride events are a 3-star event. Like I can give you one right now. Is Pride 10. Oh my God. So I'm not even going to get into it right now. Like I said, we'll get to it. We'll get to it one day. I'm pretty sure this fight might have happened at Pride 10. Ensign Inouye versus Eagle of Exchange. Oh my god. Whew. I could be wrong though. Give me 1 second. She got my dog Norvi all riled up, my crazy lady. Both my crazy ladies. So going through each of the events, even the adjacents in Japan or wherever else, or like extreme fighting in the 90s, that was one of UFC's early competitors. We'll talk about the important events, the lore-filled events that are important in our timeline because we're going to see these fighters in a few places. Wow. Beautiful. Watch this replay. How we're old school here is we don't skip replays. We don't continue in fighting games. I hope the game's not being too jumpy. It's going to ruin my replay. No fee. How you being loud, baby? Come here. Where's your toy? You crazy lady. Hi. She's crazy. So, each of the events, like I said, a 3-star. It's not gonna, and might not even happen in the first episode. That's how important a 3-star is. 2.5 stars, you know, we're talking. I mean, this is a very enjoyable event that most people that are watching these wouldn't know the difference between that and a 3-star. So they're that good. 2-star, that means we got a great event here. There's some lore, but there might be a dragging moment or two. And in the Pride events, I'll give one dragging fight an exception, even with a 3-star, because there's just a lot more fights. There's no like prelims. It's just all through. So sometimes there will be a drag, Japanese versus a Japanese fighter, and it might be fixed. We'll even say we'll play that game of, does this look fixed to you? So that's a fun game too. Every time we do Pride, I'll get more clips as we get going too of actual moments from these events, but copyright issues obviously have to be avoided. So I'm gonna do my best to just be quick, have no audio to them maybe, so we can just kind of take a look at it, laugh at it, or just audio too, because there's great things like the G-Man, Rich Goins, and every white announcer in the 90s not being able to pronounce sumo or judo. I'm saying judo or sumo, but I don't know why. They just cannot pronounce it. So we'll go over all these things, the lore of UFC 1 with Bill Superfoot Wallace and his tension with the entire rest of the crew, basically, including the Gracies, and just everybody just being in a crazy mood, not knowing what they're getting themselves into. This event was that groundbreaking. I mean, there was nothing really like it before it. There was some similar, but that first kick, that Gerard Gordeau, Taliatuli, Taylor Wiley, man, kicks his teeth out. It's when everything clicked. Everybody, even Ken Shamrock, who's already had a few events in Pancrase at this point. I think 3 fights in Pancrase. There we go. Rodrigo Nogueira Minotauro versus Ken Shamrock. Man, I swear this video, it only usually skips and jumps like this when it's a PS1 game, an old school one like Tekken 1 or something. Yuji Shimada's giving us our rules, giving us our taps on the cup, on the forehead. No headbutt. You got your balls protect? Yes. Alright, you fight. Action! You know, Pride's the greatest. It was so fun. Can't wait to talk about the events. They don't start till 97, so we're going to have to get to about UFC 15.5, the Japan event, the first UFC Japan, to start talking about its competitor in Japan and, you know, the greatest organization possibly ever in pridefc. So much fun. The Wild Wild West days, literally, even though we get a Wild Wild West days chapter 2 later on with the TRT era, which obviously I digress, we will get there. But this game is cool, even though it's very simple and I don't really know how to play it that good. I can probably take Ken to the ground, but he's a submission master too, and I don't know how to use the submissions in this game. So it's best I just keep jabbing and hooking his head off with Minotauro in his prime. I mean, I guess I can go to the ground if I'd like. He is a legend, Minotauro Rodrigo. One of the ones that people nowadays don't talk about as much. But back in the day, man, it was either Fedor or Minotauro. Those were the two heavyweights. Even Crow Cop was below the two. I know you probably know the Crow Cop Fedor fight more than the Fedor Minotauro fight, but go back to the Minotauro fights. There's three of them. One ends in a no contest, but even still, they start going at it for a good 2-3 minutes. Final Conflict 04, they have to finish it at Shockwave 04. Two fantastic events. 04 was just a great year for Pride. So you can watch Critical Countdown, you can watch Total Elimination, you can watch Bushido 2, Bushido 3. There's a ton of events there that are just fantastic. So make sure to check all those out. Well, if you can. You don't have to. I got that crazy Texas horse, Heath Herring. He actually fought a couple of these characters. So, like, if you notice Mirko, I don't even think he's in this game yet. He was still just starting out in like 2002 when this game came out. Vegeta, Ensign. It's gotta be a heavyweight. Yeah, give me Big Daddy. So yeah, we're gonna talk about all the events. Like I said, the 2 stars. These are great events. You're gonna enjoy those too. They might drag in a few moments. You have a couple bathroom break kind of fights in there. 1.5. These are some of my favorites. There's some great stuff, but there's some moments that aren't as good. There's lots of lore, maybe some mismatches that are just so obvious. It's just, not as enjoyable if someone's going to lose that bad, that quick, and you just know it's coming the whole time. 1 star means, it's okay, it's good, but, maybe not so memorable, not a ton of lore that needs to be explored or explained, So, still, if you're going to check out everything, I still recommend the 1 and 1/2 stars, but the 1/2 stars are going to be pretty awesome still, at least. So even just having the 1.5 star, you should probably check it out. It's good. It's good enough. When there's no star, half star, that's when we're talking, this event's going to piss you off. It's so bad. So just, watch those with caution. Or if you're a super nerd, fan, like, trying to watch every last event, kind of like I have a bunch of times, then go ahead and watch these events. But yeah, I'm telling you, when you get to those, you're going to watch and you're going to be like, what the hell happened here? And I even know the difference between an event that's got, some controversial stuff in it that's fun. You can still be entertaining and controversial and weird. Fights end up weird sometimes, and that's okay in certain circumstances. Other ones, not so much. So, I just got KO'd by Goodridge. So, I will tell you the difference. I'll make sure you know which events to avoid, which events to check out, which ones are awesome, the best fights. Out of all of it, the fight of the night for like the best technical fight, the best, this is the martial artist, the nerds fight. The one that's more of a, just Neanderthal slobber knocker is another version of the fight of the night. So we'll have our 2 fight of the night, sometimes the knockout of the night if necessary. Point out some great techniques, show you, what they're called or where they're coming from. Analyze them to that level. No one is doing that, and that's like the kid at the lunch table I want to be for you. Not just I rented the video and you didn't get to, so let me explain it to you so you know exactly what you're gonna go watch and how awesome it's gonna be. But no, I'm gonna analyze it there with you. Like, wow, this kid really watched this 100 times. That kind of reaction from you. And just because I've trained enough judo and jiu-jitsu to know some of the analysis on the ground and the grappling, even the grappling of just clinch work. Some people they're just stalling against the fence. Sometimes there is some real wrist fighting going on there, some real wrestling, as boring as it might be to some eyes. And even to mine, I'm not the purist. I enjoy some boring fights, but for the lore or the fun about it, like Ken Shamrock versus Dan Severn 2, which we can play. Is this a fake fight? When we watch that one too, we can sit there and play that because who knows. But it's a fun one to watch just because they literally dance for about 13-14 minutes before anybody does anything. And then there's a moment where they have a good scramble, about 20 minutes in. This fight, I think, might be 25 minutes long, maybe in overtime, or 30 minutes long. Yeah, it's long. So in those early UFC cards, when we have those super fights coming, they're not always, anything to write home about. If you've ever clicked on the Royce Gracie Ken Shamrock 2 on YouTube, you know what I'm talking about. So we'll have to get to that, break it down and analyze it so everybody knows kind of where we're at. And then as we get deeper in and start talking about, the era that everybody, you know, skips to, which is the Chuck Liddell era, and the not attitude, but the tap out era. You know, the butt rock, the awesome, you know, fight the pain era. You know, can't wait to get there. But you can't skip all the good stuff from the late 90s, the early 2000s that everybody does. They go straight from Royce Gracie to Chuck Liddell. Every Instagram influencer about MMA, that's how their timeline goes. It's just like you just skipped, you know, first the mid-late 90s where you got, you know, Marco Huas and Oleg Tektarov coming out. Then Extreme Fighting, you know, Maurice, Mo Smith, man, you guys do not know Mo Smith. I need to explain to you the awesomeness that is Mo Smith. And Bas Rutten coming over in the late 90s. And the Road to the Heavyweight title trilogy of UFC 18, the Road to the Heavyweight Championship, UFC 19, the Ultimate Young Guns, and then UFC 20, Battle for the Gold. A great trilogy. One of my favorite fighters, Kevin Randleman, the monster. You know, he all over it from 19 to 20. And 19, you know, it's a decent card. There's a ton of lore there. This is like a 1.5 star card, I'm pretty sure. Maybe just 1 star, but there's enough lore that it's basically on that border of 1 to 1.5 star. And you get a Kevin Randleman UFC debut against Mo Smith. Man, yeah, that's a crazy fight. It's not the craziest, most exciting fight. It's just such a strategic chess match of a fight. You know, Kevin Randleman with his hooked a shot, you know, is just throwing off Mo Smith, who's a little more experienced. I'm saying he's up there in age at this point, maybe 36, 37 at this time. Kevin Randleman's young, he's explosive, his wrestling is so fat, and he lulls you in, kind of his slow, you know, he stood up with Mo Smith, which at this time, you know, a wrestler standing up with a kickboxer for even 1 minute is the scariest thought ever to anybody. And Kevin Randleman went right in the fire. He said, all right, Mo, you know, let's see what you got. And he even bragged about it, and then did it again towards the end of the fight in the overtime. Did it once more where he stood up and let Mo up just to show that he could. This is some great stuff, man. And then UFC 20, super controversial main event, which every main event now that's a little close is so controversial for weeks. All you bite the bait to just keep arguing about it, who won, who lost. Who won is the judges. If they ever overturn a decision, which they never do, then we can go, okay, you know, all the idiots comment and we're all right. If not, it is what it is, man. Just like the fighter. Take the decision as what it is. You know, be a man. Accept it. They sign the line. That kind of thing does happen. Fights are weird. They're supposed to be. When there's gambling involved, there's a lot of weird stuff that's going to happen. You'll see it in the history. History is going to keep repeating itself, especially for you guys who don't know the history. So that's why MDGenol is here. We're going to have MDGenol Arcade all the time where I'm just playing whatever. The old school shows, the serious episodes where I'm going to go over 5 events or more at a time, because there are 0.5 events like UFC Brazil, UFC Japan, the Ultimates 95 and 96, which one is terrible and one is one of the greatest. So you have to know the difference, you know, when you're going and checking them out, or else you might watch an event that makes you very mad. I want to keep you away from that. So MDGenol, that's the channel. I'm Genol. MDGenol Arcade is when we're just playing whatever, talking about whatever, like we are right now. The old school show will be more serious, more formal, and even get some clips of some of these events in, because you got to know who I'm talking about. You got to meet Jeff Blatnick and Brian Kilmaid and Jim motherfucking Brown. So, and Kathy Long even. So yeah, there's people you got to meet, like Norvi here. She's crazy. She's talking. She's a pretty girl, even though she's crazy. So long. We'll see you soon. You guys take it easy. I hope you enjoyed. I had to redo this episode quite a few times because the audio and the copyrights and a bunch of stuff. So hopefully no copyrights this time. This stays up. The old school show coming soon. Like, subscribe. Let's keep talking. Let's fight. Genol. Heading out. What channel is this? We're gonna get sued. I just said no copyright. Someone change the channel. No, change the channel. That's better. OSS, the old school show, coming soon. This is the commercial break on mdgenol arcade. Extreme Fighting 3, are you kidding me? Mo Smith, the Iceman right there. Conan Silveira on the other side. American Top Team legend. Carlson Gracie team legend. You guys don't know these people? Is that Tommy Glanville in his corner? John Donahue, the referee, one of the greatest. Oh my. Oh my. Get Herb in there. Stop that fight. John Donahue does. Ahead of his time, John Donahue. Like João Alberto Barreto. Very ahead of his time. We'll talk about it in the first episode of the old school show. You have to be there. Same bad time, same bad channel. mdgenol arcade. Mo Smith, Conan Silveira, Extreme Fighting 3. We'll get there. We got to get to 96. So, coming soon.